Welcome to the Around the Sun podcast. I'm your host, Keith Gill, Commissioner of the Sun Belt Conference. In conjunction with the 50th anniversary of Title IX, we're recognizing some of the pioneers and trailblazers of women's athletics at current Sun Belt Conference institution. Today, our special guest is Kristen Tutt. Kristen played soccer at Texas State from 1999 to 2002 and played in the first ever match in the program history. To this day, she holds Texas State's career records in goalkeeper saves, goalkeeper shutouts, goalkeeper wins, and goalkeeper minutes played. She helped Texas State to the Southland Conference Tournament Championship in its inaugural season and to its first ever NCAA tournament appearance. In 2002, she was a Southland Conference first team all-conference selection. Since her graduation from Texas State, Kristen has served as a special education teacher for students with mild to moderate disabilities. Kristen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And we're so glad to have you. Thanks so much for taking a few moments to visit with us. Kristen, when you grew up playing soccer from an early age, did you think you'd go to college and play soccer? And how did you kind of turn soccer into getting to Texas State?
So I've played soccer since I was 4 years old, and I played on club teams, but never any of the big club teams. And so I kind of played to have fun, to, be competitive, but just, be with friends. And I never had formal goalkeeping training. And so I never thought I was ever good enough to play in college, let alone D1 university. And so at one of my high school games, Coach Connor was there to look at one of my teammates. And so, I had no idea there was a brand new program. And she saw my teammate, she watched her, and she saw me. And being a new program, she needs a goalkeeper. So she saw my potential, I guess, during that game. So she ended up, contacting me and having me come out to discuss playing for her new program.
Wow. So talk a little bit about that impact, because it's so interesting that you didn't see it in yourself. She saw it in you, and then you became an all-conference goalkeeper. So that's in some ways, it's almost what education is about.
So Coach Connor, she being a first-year head coach, she was also the goalkeeping coach. And so, my success is a direct a result of her hard work that she put into me. She trained me herself. So again, I didn't have the formal training. She gave it to me. She was a tough one in practice. She had high expectations. But she gave me confidence. She saw that potential, even though I kind of lacked the confidence at first because it was new to me. She built me up, and she just, it's her words. She's very motivational, and she's a really good coach at what she does.
Yeah, that's great. And it's interesting to see just how much of an impact she had on you and your development when you think about it. And also when you think about kind of role models in your life. So you graduated high school in 1999. Same year, United States won the FIFA World Cup. Seemed like all of the United States was watching at that time. What impact did that have on you in terms of seeing kind of what the women's national team did?
And so I was actually, since I graduated that year, I was actually at the U.S. women's game in Chicago when they played Nigeria. So I was there, and it was the first women's game I'd ever been to, and it was amazing. The atmosphere, just the excitement. It was just something else, and just the stadium was pretty much full. And so seeing that, and then having the U.S. women win, and seeing the excitement, the sold-out stadium, them going into overtime, penalty kicks, it just, I think it just sparked something in everybody. Just that here's this, a women's sport can be just as exciting as the men's sport, can be just as successful, and I think it just helped our sport grow.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible, just being on TV in that way, and obviously the iconic picture of Brandi Chastain, and it's just pretty amazing. I can kind of just see her sliding across on her knees, when they when they won. So it's such an amazing experience. And then, thinking of kind of Trailblazers, you were on the first team at Texas State. So talk a little bit about that. 18 freshmen trying to find a way in kind of Division I college athletics. Talk a little bit about kind of your progress and that journey.
And so again, we had 18 freshmen. We didn't have, I think we had a handful of upperclassmen. So we didn't have the experience that a veteran team would have, especially in a leadership role. So we all came in not sure what to expect. And so we kind of relied on each other. It allowed us to form a bond. And so, we played for each other. And I mean, Kat was, she had high expectations as a first year head coach. She, she wanted to establish herself with this new program. And so she prepared us mentally, physically, to play. But it was just, I don't know, and we didn't realize how special it was at the time. But, and now, especially after that first season, we just, we realized that we were starting something special for the players in the program.
It's interesting, when people look at successful athletes like you, they kind of think everything was perfect for you, and so that there weren't, obstacles, roadblocks, challenges. And obviously in your sophomore year, you broke your collarbone, which obviously kind of was a difficult. Talk about kind of how you dealt with that adversity and kind of the challenge of getting back to, full health.
That injury, it was very difficult. It was the first major injury I'd had, ever. I had to miss the whole second half of our season. So for me, it was very difficult since I was used to being on the field. My teammates were very supportive, but it also, it allowed me to have a different role on the team. Now I could be that cheerleader for them on the sidelines. I could be that motivator, whether it was practice, games, and just helping them prepare more. So, I think it was a good experience for me to just to see everything in a different perspective.
Yeah. And you guys got really good really quickly, so it didn't, you think about 18 freshmen, you think it's going to take years to kind of build a program, and you guys were able to have success early on. What was the key to being able to have success so quickly?
Honestly, I think the key was our coach. She built us up. She, she had high expectations, but it was our team. Like we played together. And from the start, our very first game ever, we were down 3-0 at halftime against Stephen F. Austin.
Oh, wow.
And we were very defeated. And so Kat, she was great at pep talks, great at motivation. She regrouped us at halftime, and we went out there. We came back and tied it 3-3 to push it into overtime. And we saved a penalty kick in overtime. It was golden goal. We saved it. And then a defender out of all people ran the ball down the field, scored the game winner. And so our very first game ever was it was magical. And I think at that point, it lit a fire under us that we can do anything, that even when we're down, we're not out, we can come together, we can fight back. And then, but it was Coach Connor's motivation and the way she led our team. She led by example with her words. And even, with our success, that first season, it was difficult. We went through a lot of overtimes, and that's very physical, on your body and on your head, just mentally. And we pushed through it. And we actually had a motto that was, the longer we play, the better we get.
That's great.
Play extra minutes. And even in our conference tournament championship, we were tied in regulation. We went through 4 15-minute overtimes.
Oh my gosh.
4, yes. And so and then we went to the second round of penalty kicks before we eventually won. And so that just kind of shows the kind of team we were, that we were exhausted, but we never gave up. And again, we chanted it before each of those 4 overtimes, the longer we play, the better we get. And so it just kind of, that whole season, was something special. It's just, I mean, it was a Cinderella season for us, and just a good way to start a program.
Yeah, I guess that's the definition of grit right there. I mean, that is grinding it out and just wearing folks down, which is interesting. And you've talked a lot about Coach Connor and kind of her impact on you. How have you kind of taken those lessons into your current role as an educator? You know, in some ways, coaches, teachers, really doing the same things in terms of education. So, talk about how Coach Connor has influenced your career in terms of how you teach.
So, I mean, I just I try to be that role model that that I had, Coach Connor was to me. I think every student needs that. And same thing with students with disabilities. They have a lot of struggles, and I see those struggles every single day. That people put limitations on them, and they're kind of closed off from opportunities. And so I just want to be there to give them the tools, praise them for their work, be there when they struggle, be able to, help them work through that. And just to let them know that, hard work, you can do anything. And just kind of be that impact on them to, so they can go forward and they can, if there's a limitation, you know what, you show people that you can do it, and create opportunities for yourself. So I just want to be that motivator for them.
Yeah, that's outstanding. And on a personal note, I just want to appreciate your service in that regard. My nephew has Asperger's, and it really is educators like you that have really helped him to really mainstream. So he still lives with my brother and sister, but he has a job now. He can prepare his own food and cook and those kind of things, and it really is based on the education that he received from wonderful educators like yourself. So thank you very much for your service in that regard.
Thank you.
Okay, we're celebrating Title IX, and obviously you were part of the initial program at Texas State. And when you think about where kind of women's athletics has come, can you just talk a little bit about like where you started kind of in '99 and what you see now when you turn on the TV and you see kind of women's athletics with the filled stadiums and with all these opportunities that now exist?
Yeah, so Title IX allowed me, it allowed a program it was Southwest Texas State University at the time, for them to have a new program, a new soccer program. And so that just being a part of it just gave me a foundation, in life and as in a career. But it also opened opportunities for girls, young girls. And I've been a coach at the youth level, and little 9-year-olds, and the fire in them and just the opportunities they have. And those 9-year-olds are going to be graduating high school this year. And, it excites me that the opportunities they're going to have as they go into college, whether it's within sports in college or other opportunities. And so that's just exciting that there's so many opportunities in the sports world. Now we have options for women to play after college, within, higher roles within sports and in careers. And so I think, Title IX, just everything that it has done has just opened a lot of doors for people.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is really amazing how women's sports has grown. We've got a long way to go. I mean, there's still progress to be made, but, we've made kind of significant progress. And so if you were talking, to the next Kristen, the next kind of trailblazer, what advice would you give her? What did you learn in terms of overcoming and going through the obstacles and keep battling so that you can get where you go? Like, how would you talk to kind of your young self about kind of navigating, and pursuing these opportunities?
I think it's just, just keep pushing. And, if an opportunity comes up and, a door is shut, you got to keep working. That door is going to open, and, just work hard. And, you just got to push yourself and don't let yourself have limits. And, when you're comfortable, keep pushing and just make yourself better.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Such inspiring words, and I'm hopeful that, I appreciate the time, and certainly, the impact that Coach Connor had on you. I'm sure she has to be proud in terms of her impact on you and I'm assuming on your teammates as well and what she's really done for you in Texas State. So, but certainly appreciate all of your contributions, being part of that first program at Texas State and kind of how that has helped women's athletics in the Sun Belt Conference and women's athletics generally. So we really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Great. I'm Keith Gill, and this has been Around the Sun Podcast.